Welcome everybody to The Last of Us Part 1. I will be testing the RTX 3050 8GB GDDR6 Ryzen 5 1600 AF clocked at 3.7 GHz or 3.5 GHz. It's on auto, so it will auto boost it to between 3.5 and 3.7 GHz. I'm running 32 GB DDR4, 3200 MHz CL16 and a 1TB NVMe SSD. Also, I'm running an Asrock B450M Steel Legend. It is Gen 3, so it's not Gen 4, so this is now the RTX 3050 on Gen 3. I will be going throughout the settings. I will be testing low, medium, high, and ultra. I will be testing 1440p as well, but not 4K. I got 1080p monitor. I'm upscaling from 1080p to 1440p, so this is basically the same as actual true 1440p. Which I don't recommend for the RTX 3050 because of the VRAM limits, and I will discuss them later on. I will be running 1080p for now, with VSync off, frame rate cap unlocked. We'll be running DLSS later on, but for now we keeping it on default. Render scale 100%, and the rest of these settings like effects, camera shake, motion blur, chromatic aberration intensity, and film grain intensity I will be turning off because it looks really bad with it. I don't really like it. It's badly implemented. I will be sticking to presets. I will be setting low, medium, high, and ultra like I said. As you can see, it's already 6.3 GB of VRAM just on low settings. So this is the low preset. You can pause the video if you want to make sure that I'm actually running low. I am running low. So I'll be jumping right in. It's gonna take a little bit of time to load in since the game does like to load a lot. You need at least 6 cores and 12 threads to run this game alright, like fine. 8 cores and 16 threads is a good starting point because it's like average 8 core 16 threads. If you don't have 8 core 60 threads, you will be heavily CPU bound because the 6 cores and 12 threads are running between 73 and 98% usage. VRAM is a big issue. Anything above a high settings will be have a lot of stuttering because of the lack of VRAM. Especially those 3060 Ti's, 3070s, 3070 Ti cards of 8 GB of VRAM, 3060 and 3080s and above will be fine. 3060s will be fine because 3060 has 12 GB of VRAM, so 1080p Ultra, 1080p medium, 4040p medium, and high will be fine.
Around.
It's clear. Come on.
But the frame rates are uncapped. I am in an intensive vegetation area. I have the statistics. I made it larger for you guys. At the moment we're at maximum GPU usage. It is CPU's at 87%, 88. It will fluctuate higher and lower. But so far it is not really running bad. The textures look really bad. Extremely bad. I did put the frame time graph there as well. Try to make it large. You can see the frame time in milliseconds. Anything above below 20, 25, actually below 20 is good. Anything above 20 is horrible. The VRAM is already at 5.5 GB of VRAM. So if you have 6 GB card, it's minimum. It's mandatory. I will not spoil the entire game. I just barely started, so you see that CPU usage now. I've done rendering everything. It's at 97%. GPU is at 50 to 66% usage. So there's a massive issue with CPU usage in this game. And look at that, RAM usage is 15.5. It will go higher as you play on. I have seen as high as 23 GB of RAM being used. So,
Hey, little man.
Already that good.
Make sure the coast is clear.
Will not be running long.
No soldiers, none
Just
around
a little bit,
men,
because
yeah?
I have other settings to try. But sometimes it will hit 100% GPU usage, sometimes it won't. Temps are pretty cool because I'm running in a 23, 22 degree ambience. So it's not really that hot. GPU power is already that high.
Come on.
I am running the OC factory OC or Zotac RTX 3050 dual twin. I think it's a dual edge OC.
Now, you hear me?
So
Okay, you can do that.
the driver version's on the bottom right with the graphics card. So on the benchmark thing. So You can actually expect 60 FPS if your CPU is not holding you back on low settings. Again, this is Gen 3. Let's just move on because it's gonna take a little bit of time to. I'll keep it at 1080p. You know what? Let's start with DLSS while I'm moving up settings. So this is DLSS on quality. Again, 70% usage, 80% GPU usage because again, it can run easily 70, 80 FPS on low settings. So this is fine. VRAM is also not a little bit lower, but not by much. We're battling it out there. Again, CPU usage is heavily, so anything below the Ryzen 5 1600, you will get below 630 FPS. So it's recommended to have at least the same CPU as I have for the Ryzen 5 2600. It's exactly the same as the 1600 AF.
Who's that?
An old headache.
So,
don't ask.
No. So as you can see, the frame rate, look at that frame time graph, by the way, because of the CPU usage, it's above 20. So that frame time spike is really high. So the 1% lows with the CPU bottleneck that is causing, or the overuse of the CPU, you will get 1% lows of 30, between 12 and 25 FPS because of the CPU. Getting like stutterings, it's really a pain, really. GPU usage is 60 to 70% usage, so there's a lot of headroom for this card to run at 60 FPS constantly, easily on low settings. Let's move on. I will be turning off DLSS for now. And let's move over to medium. I'll be going quickly over these because again, we got a lot of settings to test. It's basically the same. Medium, you're running at least, what, higher GPU usage. You're in the 40s, but again, this is native res. If you had Gen 4, we might be a little bit faster because of the memory bandwidth limit. The game wants all the available resources and speed it needs. CPU is just a bit lower. So.
I'm looking for Robert. You come through here?
Half hour ago. He went back to the wharf. He's there now.
So the CPU usage is 60%. In cutscenes it's fine, the CPU usage, and in the main menu it's fine, but in the gameplay it's really damn high. So look at that VRAM usage as well. I'm just on medium. It's already at 7 gigabytes of VRAM. So if you have anything below 8 gigabytes, like a 1660 Ti, 1660 Super, which perform the same as this card, a little bit slower than this card. If you have a 1650 Super, 1650, those cards, 4 gigabytes cards, you won't be able to run it on low settings, let alone medium, unless you use some upscaling to reduce that memory usage. We'll be changing the settings now. We got 47 FPS, so it is highly playable on this card on medium settings. So let's go to display. I'm going to put on some DLSS scaling to quality again. I will be trying to put down timestamps in the description below so that you guys can easily just check it out. You don't have to watch the full video. You're just going to have to watch you can pick which one you want to watch. I don't really mind. So this is medium with DLSS on. It's at close to 60, but it would be 60 if it wasn't for the CPU bottleneck. It says 3.475 megahertz, 3475 megahertz. It's a little bit off. It is, if I show you in Task Manager, it will be 3.5 gigahertz.
You know what's good for you.
So that's the wonkiness of it. It must have to burn a little bit.
Robert, you don't want to do this.
Turn the fuck around and leave now.
I'm not going anywhere without Robert.
Look at that GPU utilization, 66%, 70%, and it's at 53 FPS.
Fuck
Again,
this.
you can easily reach 70, 80 FPS, 60 plus FPS all of the time with DLSS on.
I'll cover you. Get the angle on them.
So remember to check on the frame time graph as well, since it can cause problems.
Good shot.
Pay for that!
I only got like one bullet left.
Nicely done, Texas.
Okay, so I'm gonna change up the settings. There's up at vegetation,
too.
but you can see the CPU issue. Let's go into high. I don't want to make this video too long. People has things to do and stuff like that. So let's change that. Yes. Do DLSS. No DLSS. And we're gonna go to settings, graphics preset on to high. Look at the VRAM usage. 8.082 8082 megabytes of VRAM, which is fine. Sorry about that. So we're running at high preset again. Everything's on high. You can pause, check. Yes, I want to apply.
You get all these guys.
If Robert's good at one thing.
Again, look at it. It's for
writing
40,
checks.
50s
put
if
it
it
in.
goes max. Again, this is still extremely playable. Like really, really playable. Don't have any issue. See if I can get any ammunition. CPU usage always goes a bit lower when you put the settings a bit higher. I don't understand that because you're increasing draw distance and stuff like that, which increases CPU. It's supposed to increase CPU usage, but it's backwards. But look at the VRAM usage, 7.4 gigabytes of VRAM. Look at the frame time graph, it's close to 20, 21. I'll say 20, 21, 22 below milliseconds is fine.
Shit, not going through here.
But it's not really that great.
Hey, boost me up.
All right, well,
So we're getting roughly like 48, 50 FPS average on the RTX 3050, which is more than playable
Give me your
enough.
hand.
I want to change the settings again. Again, we got a couple. We still have some. I'm just gonna show you what the what 1440p looks like, just in case you're running a 3060 Ti, 3070, and 3070 Ti. The VRAM usage, just to show you the problems it has. You see, as I'm using the NVIDIA DLSS, it's the GPU usage frame VRAM went from 8 over that VRAM amount to lower, so 7.7 gigabytes, almost 7.8 gigabytes of VRAM. I highly recommend DLSS with high settings to 1080p for the RTX 3050 users. You'll get a 60 FPS average. If you're running Gen 3, I don't know about Gen 4, you might get a bit more, but you'll get definitely a 60 FPS average, which is more than enough. In my opinion, high looks almost the same as Ultra.
Over here, Joel.
There are some vegetations around. So you see this GPU is also not getting utilized max because of the CPU again. So it's at 85% usage, but it's still close. 77. It's cutscene, that's why. Look at that RAM usage creeping up. So if you're running 16
How do you know
gigabytes
they're coming?
of
Two of our guys
RAM,
died trying to take
I
Tess
recommend
out.
upgrading to 24 or
Guarantee
at
that she and
least
Joel are on their way
24
here right now to
gigabytes
get
of
Robert.
RAM, or
Jesus.
if you want to play
We shouldn't have
comfortably,
taken this
most
job.
with all games,
On our call.
30 gigabytes
Let's
is not
spread
a
out
new
and
norm.
make sure no one's creeping
So-
around in here.
Damn, it's crazy. This lady is crazy. Yeah, this is now 1080p high on the DLSS. It runs pretty well. 6.7 gigabytes of VRAM, more than enough headroom for now. Let's just move over to Ultra, and I'm gonna put off DLSS.
Move up.
I just dislike how you cannot go back. You have to press back on your keyboard, which is really a pain to do that. So running Ultra, you look at a VRAM usage, 10.11 gigabytes of VRAM. So if you're running a 3060, you're fine. Anything other than 3060s and 3080s. If you're running AMD, anything above a 6700 XT, 6700, you're fine. Yeah, I'm running, just making sure, 100% sure, 1080p Ultra graphics preset with with no DLSS and 1080p resolution. Look at that VRAM usage is 7.7, almost 7.8 gigabytes of VRAM. Look at that RAM usage. RAM is already 18, almost 19 gigabytes of RAM. So
I meant to tell you, I was down on Jordan Street.
You take one out, I'll take the other.
5 civs, all in handcuffs.
Let me guess. Fireflies?
Yep. I lined them up against
we're
the
gonna
wall.
go to the other
Bang,
guy
bang,
from the other
bang.
side.
Just executed all of them.
Look at the frame rate is on native res. It's not really that bad. It's better than PS4 Pros and PS4s. Consoles, PS5 is running better though. That's better hardware.
Idiot
Anyway.
thinks he's gonna save the world. Hope he's all right.
That guy knows. Sometimes the CPU fluctuates to 60-70%, which is fine. I don't mind 60-70% CPU usage. It's fine on 6-core 12 threads. Beautiful. That means you can run 4 cores and 8 threads on the game. So getting 44, like on Gen 3, you're getting 44 FPS. Let's say 42 FPS on average. It's at least still playable, in my opinion. Oh, there goes that guy. Got a key. So I'll be changing the settings now.
Search the area.
Yeah, 42 FPS, 40 to 42 FPS average, which is really not bad, but we don't getting CPU bottlenecked because of the ultra settings. I will be running now DLSS, and then we will run over to 1440p just to show you how the 3070 would run with the VRAM of 8 gigabytes. I won't perform the same as the 3070 and stuff like that, but it will show a real life scenario of how 8 gigabytes of VRAM will run. Let's go back again. I'm running DLSS on quality 1080p. It will go scale down to 720p, 10.5 gigabytes of VRAM. And we are still running the Ultra preset. You're getting close to a 60 FPS average. I think if you might have PS Gen 4, you might be able to get 60 FPS average, because some games actually make use of the memory bandwidth a bit more. Since the memory bandwidth on it is higher, because PS Gen 3 x 8 is the same as PS Gen 4 x 2. So if you don't believe me, just Google it. Oh yeah, I got a key. I'll open that. I just want to see something else. If there's any vegetation out here, so that oh yeah, there is. So 58, 60, 63s. Yeah, it's pretty playable on Ultra. On DLSS quality, 7.5 gigabytes of VRAM, 18.6 gigabytes of RAM. Reflections look really good. Frame graph is pretty nice. So at 1080p Ultra, you might get some here and there, but stuttering because of the VRAM issue, but most of the time it will probably be smooth. It depends if you need to load in new textures and then you load new area, which we'll see now. And it might creep. Yeah, there you go, stuttering already. 33 megahertz to 68 milliseconds.
Good.
That's quite
Do
insane.
another once over and then head out. Getting close to curfew.
What about Robert? Who's he rolling up with
40s.
tonight? Guy's too paranoid
Again,
to stay
CPU
here by himself.
bottleneck. We would have
Tough to find
seen
him.
higher.
We'll check
So
in with the others and come up with something.
I'm just gonna change the settings now. So let's go to 1440p. Let me just turn off DLSS for now. Whoa, what's going on? Okay, I was probably applying some settings. Let's go to medium, okay? And we will be running at, let me just go up, 2560 by 1440. And as you can see, it's already over 8 gigabytes of VRAM, it's 8.2. So if you're running 3070, you might be able to run it if you use DLSS. And funny enough is that 3070 can run this game comfortably. So it's 1440p native res, medium settings. I'm just gonna make sure DLSS is off. DLSS, okay, is off. So this is native res, native 1440p on medium. So you're getting 30s. You're getting PS4 experience.
Hey, you hear that?
It's like if you lock it to 30 FPS and use a controller, you have a console-like experience, or last-gen console-like experience. Yeah, 37, 40s, it's still fine. Look at the VRAM usage, 7.5, almost 7.6. RAM usage is at 17.9. So, again, 16 gigabytes won't cut it anymore. The smoothness is fine. It doesn't have NVIDIA reflex, but it's fine. The latency is a bit bad. It's a bit jaggy. I don't like that. Yeah. So for 1440p medium, you can run, I think with the 3070 you will have a great experience. But I feel like you would have a better experience with DLSS on, just in case you might want to reduce the VRAM usage, because look here, we're going to put it on DLSS quality and it's 7.7 gigabytes of VRAM. So let's try 1440p at DLSS quality with medium settings. Medium preset. Yeah, medium settings, basically. So let's just see. And it jumped all the way up to 50s. So if you are running an RTX 3050 on a 1440p monitor, you can comfortably play it at what? 40. I don't know. It's 1080p upscaled to 1440p, so it probably will run the same. It's probably more intensive. But yeah, it's running good. It's running really good. 6.8 gigabytes of VRAM usage. 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is odd. It did reduce the RAM usage. There's no. I can't even remember how to play most of the time. Oh, there's a guy there. Oh.
He's over here.
Bastard. Beginning to have a great experience on 1440p. Getting like 50 FPS average. Again, PC Gen 4 might be different. Hopefully somebody on YouTube watched this and they have a 3050 with a PC Gen 4 system. Can you please test that out? I'm really curious if that will improve it. Maybe it would. So I'll be running it on high settings. Again, 9 gigabytes of VRAM. Just a lot. And I'll keep it native res for a couple of seconds just to see how it will run. Okay, things are applying. I feel laggy. 27, 29, 28. I can almost see this guy. Okay, so that's that. 28, 29. Yeah, I won't recommend. If you have a 3050, recommend 1440p medium, at least with DLSS. You'll have a great experience, but
Come on.
1440p high, no. If you have 3060, you have a very better experience, in my opinion. So it's not running too bad. Not running bad at all. I actually like the experience. I should probably use it. I can't remember how to use it. Oh, now I remember how to use it. Okay, so now let's change settings one last time. I haven't showed you all the 1080p settings. So I'm just gonna put on scaling mode, DLSS on quality. Go back, graphics settings still high, in 9.195. It says 1.9.15. So let's just see. This is 1440p high settings with DLSS on quality. You're getting 30s, 7.1 gigabytes of VRAM usage. The frame time graph says something else, because it says in MS Afterburner it's using 7.1 gigabytes of VRAM, but you're running high milliseconds. Your spikes in frame time graph is pretty high. It feels janky, it feels laggy, or input latency, which is not ideal. But if you add a bit more VRAM on 3050, like 12 gigabytes, or 10 gigabytes, 10 to 12 gigabytes, you would easily be able to play it. What the heck? What is this? Okay, put away. Shivs, okay. See what's up here, and then I'll try Ultra again, just to show you the VRAM usage and the milliseconds of frame time graph. I tried putting the 1 and 0.1% loads on screen with MS Afterburner, but mine doesn't want to come on. I don't know why. I might need to reinstall MS Afterburner, or it's a setting that's not right. So CPU usage is tamed. It looks 70, 80%, 60%, you get less CPU power the higher your resolution is. So if you're running like a Ryzen 5 1600, same CPU as mine, a bit higher than this, on 1440p, if you have a good GPU, can overrun it. Let's just go to last setting. It's 2 last settings. I'll keep it on default. It's gonna chug. It's gonna chug real hard. I'm sorry, 3050, you have to do this. And yes. So Ultra preset, 1440p Ultra, no DLSS. 22. 7.3 gigabytes of VRAM. Oh no, it's gonna stutter really bad. I can feel latency. I can hardly play like this. It's not a 1440p card. It might be an entry-level 1440p card, like for older games, like the Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and games like those, Battlefield 4.
There's our boy.
Dota 2. But it's for newer games, it's not made for 1440p.
Let's go wrap this up.
6.8 gigabytes of VRAM. It's running out of VRAM. Definitely running out of VRAM because frame time spikes is so bad. It's so really bad.
Let's be smart about this. There's a lot of them.
For a long time.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop that there because I won't be able to play. It's like 20 FPS average on 1440p Ultra without DLSS. I'm gonna use some DLSS. I might be going with DLSS to balance preset. Yes, I know the VRAM is not enough.
Shit, I don't know who's left out there to sell us stuff.
24, 25, 28, certain 30s. So you can get a 30 FPS experience if you have Gen 4 or if you overclock the graphics card. I will be overclocking the graphics card a bit soon as well, just to show you the 1440p. So 20, I already know it's going to perform. It's going to perform like 28, 30 FPS. We haven't seen the VRAM. Let me just show you the VRAM. VRAM's at 6.9, but it's lying. It's really lying. RAM is just at 21.4 gigabytes of RAM usage. So CPU is just always lower. So I'm just gonna go. What do I normally do again? Balanced DLSS. If you're running 1440p, you want to run Ultra, but I don't recommend it. Might run 30 FPS. As I see here, it is 29, 30. Yeah, it's like a 30 FPS average experience, or 32. I got almost saw me.
Get him! Where are the barrels?
Fuck these guys! Way to go, Tex.
So 40s, 30s, I would say 33 FPS average on balanced DLSS 1440p Ultra. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's a shame it doesn't have enough VRAM. It will be capable of running it. I'm gonna stop it there. We'll be stopping it there. I'm just gonna go to MS Afterburner. I'll show you guys MS Afterburner. I do have presets for it. I will be running my preset. Core clock 150 megahertz, core clock boost, and a memory clock of 1100. Your GPU may vary from mine, but for the Zotac cards, anything between 900 and 1100 memory clock is fine. 150 is the maximum I can make my card. So it's with a good overclock. So let's see. It's now running at 2062 megahertz core clock and memory clock 8101 megahertz. Still running the same settings. I haven't changed it. We just go make sure. 1440p. DLSS balanced. Ultra preset. 30. It will now be 35, 36 FPS average. So yeah, you will be able to play it in our maximum settings 1440p
Hey,
easily. In the kind of console-like experience. You can again put it on a controller, put it in, you can play, but the VRAM, yeah, RAM is already 19 gigabytes of RAM. So yeah.
Over there. I saw something.
What? What is it?
Beat him up.
there you go.
So you'll be able to play it if you have a little bit more VRAM, but if they are when they start fixing the problems of the performance of the game, running so much VRAM and CPU usage, it will be playable on even on 1440p Ultra with DLSS on quality. You will have a great experience, 30 plus FPS experience all of the time. Let's just go back with the overclock. I want to revisit. Let's go put on quality DLSS. Yes. At 1080p. And no, I will not be running Ultra. I want to be running. Actually, let's show Ultra with the overclock. Hopefully everything applied. I might need to restart the game. I don't think so. I need to. Yeah, it's at 40s, 39, 38. I feel like it's the VRAM amount. Now I'm just gonna go back to high settings. Let's go high preset. So it's below. So I recommend this if you want to overclock it, get a little bit of extra performance. Everything's still applying. Yeah, I might need to restart the game. Textures are not really loading. The textures are actually not loading. It's still loading. Like what? I have resizable bar on and it still takes a while to load. Everything finished loading in. Okay, it is because GPU usage is at 60%. So if you had this overclock with a better CPU, of course, and more RAM, more than 24 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes of RAM, on high settings, you will get 60 to 80 FPS, and depending on scenes, but you'll get a 60 FPS plus experience
That office.
with this overclock.
Robert must have run in there.
So
Let's go get him.
yeah, I highly recommend the settings. This has been the RTX 3050 review. This is just see the combat one more time, and then I'll end this video. It depends. Let's see. I don't see anyone. Yeah, that'll be it. If you guys enjoy, for those running 3060 Ti's, 3070s, and 3070 Ti's, 4040p medium with DLSS on, you'll be able to run it fine. But again, you will be easily able to run it on 1080p Ultra. But because your VRAM limited, you won't be able to run it. And because for those running 6 cores and 12 threads, I'm sorry, the 5600X and 5600. You will be a high CPU usage, but your GPU might be close to 100% usage because of your single core performance. And anything about 6 cores and 12 threads, you'll be fine. So 3060 guys with 5700 X's, 5700 X3Ds, you'll be fine. And that'll be it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this was informative to you. I am running not the latest version of The Last of Us. I'm running version 1. The released version of the game. Again, it might get fixed by the devs later on in the year. And yeah, hope you guys have a nice enjoy your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.